was Katt because he told me. He said they're gonna come for you, and I was like, Katt, come on, Katt. I mean, I just, you know.
There you go. See, come on, Katt.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women.
You know, it is a shakedown. It is a targeted attack, but Shannon needs to have some accountability because he gave them something to shake down. He gave them something to target by making poor choices.
I do not think that the element is true. I do think that he has been behaving sloppily, and so that has caught up with him.
Katt Williams didn't just stir up drama. He poured gasoline on an already burning fire. What started as a low-key Instagram live turned into an internet explosion when Katt took direct aim at Shannon Sharpe's ongoing $50 million lawsuit. His sharp tongue didn't miss a beat, weaving jokes with brutal observations, and within minutes, thousands tuned in, tagging friends and flooding comment sections with, "You need to see this." And let's be clear, it wasn't just comedy. It was a calculated takedown at a moment when Sharpe could least afford another controversy. The whole thing kicked off after reports surfaced about Shannon's alleged misconduct at a Las Vegas retreat, allegations serious enough to derail careers. While mainstream outlets tried to tread carefully, Katt jumped headfirst into the chaos, calling out Sharpe's choices and mocking the legal circus forming around him. It didn't take long before clips of Katt's live dominated every social platform, racking up millions of views faster than network news could even react. At the center of all this, a brutal reminder: when you hand a man like Shannon Sharpe multiple microphones, multiple television deals, and just enough freedom to think he's untouchable, don't act surprised when the consequences show up at his front door. Katt framed the downfall with razor-sharp precision, roasting the situation as a natural consequence, not some random attack. And the internet, oh, they ate it up like a free buffet. This wasn't just another celebrity meltdown either. As Katt pointed out, Shannon wasn't exactly blindsided. He gave them ammo. Whether it was sloppy behavior, bad judgment, or simply believing he was above it all, he handed critics the weapons they're now using against him. Even ESPN, the powerhouse sports network, found themselves scrambling after old messages from Shannon surfaced. Messages that, while not from a strip club scene, still painted a picture embarrassing enough to rattle executives and force internal meetings before sunrise. Katt's timing wasn't random. Going live just after 11:10 p.m. Eastern, what he jokingly called prime insomnia theater, wasn't just a coincidence. It was smart. It hit when viewers were restless, scrolling for drama, and it worked. His stream jumped from a sleepy 4,000 viewers to over 230,000 in less than 20 minutes. Algorithms noticed. Push notifications blasted. Friends spam tagged each other. "He's flaming Shannon, get in here." The viral effect was instant and unstoppable. By morning, the damage was done. Snippets from Katt's monologue flooded Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, each clip sharper, juicier, and more brutal than the last. Newsrooms that missed the original broadcast scrambled to catch up, trying to figure out how to cover a story they didn't break but couldn't ignore. Because ignoring it, that wasn't an option. Katt had set the internet on fire. And he didn't just stick to jokes either. Mid-roast, Katt shifted gears, delivering a breakdown of lawsuit damages that would make a first-year law student take notes. He explained the difference between compensatory and punitive damages with such clarity that even TikTok legal accounts started quoting him. "Compensatory covers what you lost," he said. "Punitive means the judge wants interest, with attitude, simple, memorable, instantly viral." But underneath all the comedy and easy laughs was a deeper, darker reality. Shannon Sharpe wasn't just facing an ugly lawsuit. He was staring down the possibility of losing endorsement deals, brand partnerships, and millions in future revenue, all because the court of public opinion was now in full swing. And if you think legal teams aren't watching TikTok clips to assess jury bias, think again. In today's world, your Instagram rants can hit a courtroom before your lawyer even files a response. Industry insiders were already noticing the ripple effect. Quiet changes happened fast. One of Shannon's apparel sponsors quietly pulled his face off their website, replacing it with a generic spring ad. No big announcement, no dramatic statement, just a silent, telling retreat. A signal to anyone paying attention that corporate America doesn't wait for verdicts. They move with public sentiment. And right now, Shannon's stock was falling faster than a meme coin after Elon Musk stops tweeting about it. Meanwhile, ESPN executives were doing damage control without triggering a full-blown PR disaster. They mentioned the lawsuit briefly, then pivoted so fast to NFL draft coverage you'd think they had whiplash. Katt's name? Never mentioned on air. Not once, because bringing him up would have meant admitting they lost control of the narrative, and network lawyers weren't about to take that risk. Inside Shannon's own camp, the silence was deafening. For 4 straight days, no gym selfies, no cigar shots, no rise and grind motivational posts, nothing. Behavioral experts would tell you, for a man who posts like clockwork, that kind of silence isn't just a break, it's a full-blown red flag. Some speculated he was negotiating settlements behind the scenes. Others believed he was prepping a legal counterattack. Rumors even swirled that Diddy, tied to Shannon through social circles, might have had a hand in setting him up. A theory fueled heavily by Katt's no-holds-barred live. Important note, that's rumor territory, not confirmed fact. As the drama unfolded, advocacy groups weighed in too. Some criticized Katt for making light of serious allegations, arguing that his jokes could discourage future victims from coming forward. Others defended him, saying that mocking hypocrisy isn't the same as mocking real pain. That debate, about where comedy ends and cruelty begins, became its own subplot to the main story. And the audience? Divided, but locked in. No one was looking away. Beyond just roasting Shannon Sharpe, Katt Williams used the situation to issue a warning. If your legal team can't manage TikTok narratives, he joked, no amount of depositions will save you. And the sad part? He wasn't wrong. In today's media landscape, a viral clip can poison jury pools before a single piece of evidence is officially presented. Scholars were already citing Katt's live as a case study in how public sentiment shapes legal outcomes, especially in high-profile celebrity cases. You don't have to look far for examples either. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's court battle wasn't decided just inside a Virginia courtroom. It was fought and refought in the trenches of YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. Every cross-examination, every facial twitch, every out-of-context clip became ammunition. And Katt made it crystal clear that Shannon Sharpe's saga was heading down the same road, whether Sharpe liked it or not. Meanwhile, details from the original lawsuit began surfacing. An anonymized plaintiff, referred to as Jane Doe, alleged a pattern of misconduct tied to Sharpe during a corporate retreat. The accusations were serious: career sabotage, emotional distress, and physical violations that, if proven, could cripple Sharpe's reputation forever. Damages were set at a jaw-dropping $50 million bran, a number carefully calculated to hurt not just financially, but socially, publicly, and professionally. Sharpe's legal team struck back quickly, branding the accusations as a money grab, a strategic invention designed for a quick payout. Observers initially expected a quiet settlement, but Sharpe hinted at a counterattack, threatening a 9-figure defamation suit if the claims weren't withdrawn. That move, whether smart or desperate, signaled war. No one was backing down. While the legal teams were gearing up for an ugly fight, Katt Williams doubled down on his commentary. His roast wasn't just funny, it had teeth. He pointed out the insanity of trying to maintain a polished media image while your private life leaked all over the internet. As he put it, you can't sell luxury suits when your reputation's on layaway. And that line? Instantly memed, instantly viral. Endorsement partners started quietly pulling back. Cognac brands, custom clothing lines, health supplements, all industries where personal brand and public image are everything. Some companies paused marketing campaigns. Others scrubbed social media posts featuring Sharpe. No official statements, of course, but insiders knew exactly what was happening. The brand distancing phase had begun. Inside ESPN, panic buttons were being smashed behind closed doors. Executives debated whether to acknowledge Katt's commentary at all. Ultimately, they chose the safest route: refer vaguely to ongoing legal matters and immediately shift focus. Public acknowledgement would have risked giving Katt even more attention. And right now, ESPN's main goal was damage control, not fueling another viral news cycle. But even ESPN's silence backfired. Viewers noticed. Fans called them out for selectively shielding their talent, accusing the network of hypocrisy after being so quick to dogpile other fallen stars. The double standard wasn't lost on anyone, and that sentiment only made Katt's live rant hit harder. Meanwhile, on Shannon Sharpe's personal social media, total radio silence. No funny videos, no inspirational quotes, no gym check-ins. 4 straight days of digital ghosting. And in a world where silence often speaks louder than statements, speculation grew louder by the hour. Some whispered about settlement talks already underway. Others spun theories that Diddy, yes, that Diddy, may have orchestrated some behind-the-scenes pressure against Sharpe after Shannon allegedly exposed connections between Diddy and ongoing controversies. Again, strong rumors, but not confirmed facts. Treat with caution. Whatever the truth, the optics were a disaster. Every passing hour without a response made it look like Sharpe was losing control. And in today's hyperspeed media environment, perception often becomes reality. As Katt's takedown continued spreading, new players jumped into the fray. Advocacy groups started releasing statements, warning that mocking legal accusations, even indirectly, risked undermining real victims. They argued that laughing too soon or too hard might discourage others from coming forward. On the flip side, free speech defenders rallied behind Katt, framing his rant as necessary comedic critique of celebrity hypocrisy. Even academic circles were buzzing. Universities began prepping lectures dissecting Katt's livestream as a real-time case study in media, law, and the blurry ethical lines between them. One communications professor called it a masterclass in viral storytelling, noting how Katt seamlessly mixed humor, legal analysis, and cultural criticism into a single, unstoppable narrative. Meanwhile, Shannon's world kept crumbling piece by piece. Marketing executives started revising quarterly projections. Revenue estimates linked to Sharpe's endorsements were quietly downgraded. The financial bleeding had begun, and there was no easy way to bandage it. One clothing brand that once proudly featured Sharpe on its homepage quietly updated their website, redirecting customers to a spring sale banner. Subtle, but deadly. In the endorsement world, that's the equivalent of moving someone from the front door to the back alley. Behind the scenes, rumors swirled about more bad news looming. Legal experts pointed out that if the judge refused to dismiss parts of Jane Doe's case, discovery would kick into overdrive. And once discovery starts, private text messages, emails, and even security footage could start leaking. Each leak would be another landmine under Sharpe's public image. Katt, meanwhile, wasn't done roasting. During his stream, he warned about the dangers of screenshots, calling them digital cockroaches. Once you see one, you can bet there's a whole colony you haven't found yet. That metaphor? Instantly viral. TikTokers stitched the quote with montages of leaked celebrity DMs, racking up millions of views in hours. The irony? Katt's one-liners were proving more effective at shaping public opinion than any formal news report. He wasn't just telling jokes, he was setting the narrative, faster and sharper than corporate PR teams could even react. And then came another blow. Insurance insiders leaked that broadcasters like Sharpe often have personal liability policies. But here's the kicker. Those policies usually don't cover lawsuits tied to intentional misconduct or SA allegations. Translation? If the allegations stuck, Sharpe would be footing legal bills out of pocket. Bills that could easily run into the millions. Suddenly, a quiet settlement, once seen as a sign of guilt, started to look like a possible escape route. Financial pressure has a funny way of forcing even the proudest public figures into compromise. But even if he settled, the damage was done. His brand, once built on toughness and swagger, was now associated with scandal and corporate liability risk. And Katt Williams? He was riding a wave of renewed fame. His tour dates spiked by 30%. His older specials surged on streaming platforms. Rumors floated that Netflix had already reached out about filming a new special, a victory lap powered by controversy. For Katt, controversy wasn't a threat, it was currency. The ripple effect from Katt's takedown didn't stop at Shannon's endorsements or legal fees. It triggered a full-blown reputational crisis that spread through every corner of the sports and entertainment world. Brands that had previously lined up to attach themselves to Sharpe's clean image now found themselves reassessing every contract clause, every campaign, every handshake deal. And they weren't waiting for verdicts. In the world of high-end sponsorships, the court of public opinion always moves faster than the court of law. Even ESPN executives, who had spent days pretending everything was fine, finally realized that pretending wasn't enough. Behind closed doors, meetings turned frantic. How do you distance yourself from one of your biggest names without looking like you're abandoning him? How do you address a viral wildfire without pouring gasoline on it? In the end, they chose the oldest play in the corporate book, tightrope the issue. Panelists were instructed to vaguely acknowledge ongoing legal matters and immediately pivot topics. Katt's name? Still banned. Sharpe's Instagram blackout? Still unexplained. But the silence wasn't protecting Shannon. It was suffocating him. Every day, without a real statement, let speculation spiral further out of control. Fans who once idolized him began picking apart every past controversy, every old rumor, and when public trust starts eroding, no PR spin can fully rebuild it. Meanwhile, legal experts watching from the sidelines flagged another major issue: jury pool contamination. Thanks to Katt's viral rant and the endless TikTok breakdowns it inspired, finding unbiased jurors would now be nearly impossible. Any defense lawyer worth their salt would argue that media exposure made a fair trial unrealistic. But, ironically, that very argument could work against them, painting Shannon as guilty before the first piece of evidence even got reviewed. And if you thought Sharpe's situation was bad, it somehow managed to get worse. Insiders hinted that if discovery went forward, sealed documents could leak. Texts, photos, even security footage. Not official leaks, of course, just the kind that mysteriously surface when too many people have access. If even one damaging screenshot hit social media, it could ignite a second media firestorm. One even ESPN couldn't pretend to ignore. Katt Williams, for his part, wasn't just basking in the chaos. He was predicting it. In one especially brutal moment from his live, he warned, "Screenshots are digital cockroaches. If you see one, trust me, there's a colony behind the fridge." The internet latched onto that line like vultures spotting a fresh carcass. TikTok montages, Instagram memes, Twitter threads. Everyone had receipts now, and they were ready to drag Shannon Sharpe through every digital courtroom available. And the financial bleeding? Oh, it was getting worse. Analysts estimated that if Sharpe's sponsors continued pulling back, he could lose 6 figures every single month. One urban clothing brand already froze ad placements. A supplement company paused its mid-roll podcast buys. And if bigger brands followed, Sharpe's revenue would nosedive at a time when his legal bills were climbing into the millions. Sharpe's podcast empire, Club Shay Shay, was still pulling solid download numbers, but advertisers were jittery. In the podcast world, controversy isn't always a death sentence, but sponsors are obsessed with brand safety. If an episode even smells like legal controversy, advertisers can and will yank their money. And once they leave, rebuilding those relationships becomes a long, expensive battle. While Sharpe's camp stayed silent, Katt's momentum grew. Ticket sales surged, streaming plays exploded, fan pages cropped up overnight, remixing his roast into every imaginable format: memes, parody songs, dramatic readings. Even college classes started analyzing his takedown, using it as proof that comedians, not journalists, were now shaping public narratives in real time. It's a shift no one in old media wants to admit, that a single comedian with a smartphone could outpace multi-million-dollar PR teams and billion-dollar newsrooms. But that's exactly what happened. Katt Williams didn't just roast Shannon Sharpe, he rewrote the rules of how celebrity scandals unfold in 2025. Meanwhile, Shannon's legal team scrambled to mount a defense. Sources close to the case whispered about potential countersuits, not just against the anonymous Jane Doe accuser, but maybe even media outlets or individuals they believed were spreading malicious falsehoods. Would Katt be included? Highly unlikely. Unless Sharpe's team could prove actual malice, a near impossible legal standard, going after Katt would only make them look weaker. Still, the possibility of retaliatory lawsuits hung in the air, another layer of tension in an already combustible situation. At the heart of it all, the human element got lost. Jane Doe, the alleged victim, remained a faceless entity in the public eye, shielded by anonymity, but subjected to brutal speculation. Some argued she deserved protection, others demanded more transparency. Katt, true to form, called it out bluntly during his stream. Blindfold justice sees no faces, but social media. Social media rips the blindfold off and sells tickets. The line offended some. Advocacy groups blasted him for trivializing a serious issue, but it resonated with millions who were already exhausted by trial by hashtag culture. Whether you agreed with him or not, Katt tapped into a deep public fatigue with the way scandal after scandal unfolds in the digital age. Celebrity peers cautiously began picking sides too. Retired NFL star Chad Johnson threw subtle shade at Katt with a cryptic thumbs down emoji. Meanwhile, comedians like Dave Chappelle reportedly texted Katt midstream, cheering him on. A screenshot claiming to show the exchange went viral, though its authenticity remains unverified. Regardless, it cemented a growing sense that comedians, not journalists, now act as the public's unofficial commentator, cutting through polished PR spin with raw, unscripted brutality. And that's bad news for celebrities who still think they can manage scandals the old way, controlling headlines, leveraging powerful friends, issuing lawyer-approved statements. In the era of viral soundbites and TikTok juries, authenticity wins, even when that authenticity is brutally funny and painfully inconvenient. Sharpe's camp, meanwhile, explored ways to shift the narrative. Some insiders floated the idea of a pre-recorded video statement, something polished but heartfelt. Others suggested a strategic appearance on Club Shay Shay, flanked by attorneys, to control the messaging. Some even considered pushing a redemption arc, painting Sharpe as a target of opportunistic attacks and cancel culture hysteria. But whatever they choose, they'll be fighting an uphill battle. Katt Williams turned the spotlight into a laser, and any misstep from Sharpe's side would be refracted into 1,000 mocking memes within minutes. And Katt? He wasn't backing down. Confidants hinted he was gathering even more material, fueled by DMs, court documents, and leaked screenshots flooding his inbox daily. Every fan theory, every half-baked rumor was potential punchline fodder. Katt didn't need mainstream media. He had the internet itself, and right now, the internet was firmly in his corner. Legal calendars marked 3 crucial dates ahead: a status hearing on motion dismissals, a witness list deadline, and, potentially most explosive, the rumored release of Katt's next comedy special. If that special drops while the case is still active, it could permanently cement Sharpe's scandals into pop culture history, no matter what the final court ruling says. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, executives at brands still tied to Sharpe were holding emergency meetings. Risk assessments were updated. PR contingency plans were written and rewritten. Because if even one damning document leaks one screenshot, one witness testimony, the backlash could be nuclear. Hollywood and sports management firms watched nervously too. Shannon Sharpe's implosion was no longer just a personal drama. It was a cautionary tale about how quickly legacy media control crumbles when a single live stream, a few viral TikToks, and one unfiltered comedian combine forces against you. If you enjoyed watching, you're not going to want to miss it, so don't forget to like and subscribe.